Okay, before I start yapping, this is definitely not like more regular content as well, regular VR content, not fucking theory content. But that's besides the point. Because this is just a personal theory I have with, of course, a game I love being Deltarune. We all love Deltarune, right? Apophis doesn't. I don't know why. That's besides the point. If you like Deltarune, don't say shit in the comments about him. That probably wasn't gonna happen, but I need to say that just in case, I guess. Okay, let's get to the theory. So, kinda recently, kinda not, Game Theory made a theory about Deltarune. You know, with the new information from Deltarune's chapters 3 and 4. And they theorizing that. Right, sorry about that. But, and they theorized that the Snowgrave route would be the canon route. And that, of course, throughout the Snowgrave route, Noelle becomes stronger. So the fact that Chapter 2 Noelle at the end of Snowgrave is stronger than an end of Chapter 4 Susie, who is by far the strongest member of the Fun Gang. And that Susie would have to die at the end of Chapter 7 so Noelle could get released from the player's control. So that they can banish the player. But I feel like that is definitely a possibility. I feel like there can be multiple endings. None of them specifically being canon, but some definitely having being better perceived than others. Where I feel like there'll be two main endings. One where you do all the secret bosses, and then the other one where Snowgrave is the canon one. The Snowgrave one is kind of just a game theory. So I'm not going to go over that. Instead, I'm going to go over the secret boss one. Obviously, Chris and / Noelle will have access to the Black Shard in this. Susie will have trained with Gerson, so she will have a very good healing. Oh damn, I failed. And all that. So she will definitely become the main character, as people already thought when they first did the Hammer of Justice fight. And I feel like you run into the Knight again, sometime in Chapter 5 or Chapter 6, where then you get another Black Shard. You can obviously put this on Noelle and Chris, so both have a powerful weapon, or you can merge either one of the Black Shards or both the Black Shards into Susie, into the Justice Axe, where then it will make her healing even better, reduce her Rude Buster cost, also increase the damage again for the weapon, but also more importantly, give it the bonus damage against the dark enemies that the Dark Shard already has. Dark Shard, Black Shard, whatever it's called, I kind of can't remember right now. And this would become the best weapon in the entire game without any thought. This would easily become the best weapon. Having the highest damage increase, being better than Twisted Sword. Twisted Sword's damage increase, well, 16? It would probably be around like 16 or 17, maybe even 18 or 20. With having increased damage to dark enemies, so the Knight would really get fucked by this. And Susie become the best healer in the party. With, already in Chapter 4 with the Justice Axe, having more healing numbers than Relsey's Heal Prayer, just having around 76 compared to Relsey's around 75. So they have pretty similar healing numbers, although Susie, I'm pretty sure, is ever so slightly better. But of course, the only thing holding Susie back is the incredibly high TP cost it has. Maybe the TP cost is the same and she gains such an incredibly high healing output that it will heal everyone up to full no matter what, or maybe have a group healing. Or it just is a incredibly powerful single target healing. And of course, we will also have whatever Chapter 5, 6, and even 7's chapter boss will have been defeated. Oh, I finally did this. I finally beat hard mode on any of these, but that's not talking about the theory. And of course, they're gonna have, and of course, since it's not Snowgrave, Noelle would join the party in Chris's place, kinda, where Susie will actually take up Chris's place, and Noelle will take up Susie's place, well, at least old place, kinda, And of course, you'd also have the Shadow Mantle. Because I'm sorry, only godly players can beat the Knight without the Shadow Mantle. And also, at this point, Eram is considered is a secret boss at this point. So I would count them in this. And they of course kill the Knight at the end of Chapter 7. Or Susie instead spares the Knight, trying to help them from destroying the world, and maybe it is destined that the Knight will die. But of course, Susie, being able to just fuck over the prophecy, would just save the Knight anyway, using that white pen of hope that she has. I didn't get it this time. And this would also in turn help Chris. And also, we know that the best weapons for each character, Chris and Noelle have the Black Shard, Susie has the Justice Axe, and currently I'm pretty sure Rels uses the Puppet Scarf. Which doesn't make any sense, seeing how the other three that have joined the party have a connection to the character that they acquired the weapon from. Obviously, Carol has some connection to the Knight. So does Chris. And so Noelle kind of has an indirect connection to the Knight, unless of course the Knight does turn out to be Des. Though that is still only a fan theory, so not going to count it in this. And Susie, of course, is trained by Gerson. Their best weapons are dropped from the secret boss with them, with those characters. So Relsi will have something, probably in Chapter 5, as he definitely has some connections with Azrael and the Dreamer family, outside of just Chris. And Asgore could probably be a secret boss or something. Which would, and he would probably drop Ralsei's best weapon. Which instead of being a scarf would be like his cloak or something. Like his weird cape-looking thing from Undertale. That he doesn't have in Deltarune. He would probably gain that in the Dark World, and then that becomes Ralsei's best weapon. But not really in the offensive standpoint like the other two, but similar to how Susie's best weapon is the Justice Axe, and that increases her healing, that will make it so that Ralsei is a much better support. Probably either gaining access to a whole new spell to heal the entire team, or just making heal prayer more effective. Definitely not to the effectiveness that a fully upgraded Susie would have, as you're not telling me that she would have a worse healing than it because of the insane growth that Ralsei's kind of just staying still in his healing output. I mean, obviously not, because they have to balance it around the HPs of it, so he is still getting better. But you know, in 3 chapters, you're going from having a healing that is worse than using a revivement on a live teammate, to an actually usable one if you don't really need TP. And well, Ralsei is only growing in his healing output, probably mainly for game balance, let's be honest there. Because if he was continuing to do like 30 healing in Chapter 4, he'd be completely useless for healing. And then, of course, if Susie had her same healing output, her thing costs so much more, costing double but giving at least triple the healing, so it would be much more worth to use Susie's healing in Chapter 4. Which is fine, seeing how she gains an upgrade to her healing massively, thanks to Gerson. But, you know, kinda got sidetracked away from the theory. And, thinking. Chapter 6, I kind of forgot Gerson's dialogue that will give us a hint on what it is. I'll pull it up and let future me handle that because I don't know at the very moment. So I will be right back. By future me, I mean me 30 minutes from now. After I look up Gerson's dialogue on Google. Okay, I'm back, and yeah, the book with that he was talking about that had insanely close correlations never had a 6th chapter, so we have no hints of what Chapter 6 could be. And obviously Chapter 7 is most likely going to be revolving around the festival and the knight doing some shit with the festival, creating a dark world, putting the entirety of Hometown, or what, I kind of forgot what it's called, honestly. I think it's called Hometown, at least. Gets put into the dark world. So, we have honestly zero idea what Chapter 6 could be. We'll learn that in a year, because Chapter 5, unless it gets delayed, is coming out next year. Hopefully Chapter 5 with Asgore will have something to do with Ralsei, because I feel like he has some sort of connection to the Dreamer family outside of Chris. Like Asriel or Asgore or something. So that's probably when he's going to gain his best thing. Or maybe, instead of a new weapon, he can get an armor that only he can equip. Though, then again, it could just be in the place of a weapon, like a new scarf. Because he isn't offensively based. It'd probably decrease his attack. Actually, no, it didn't increase his attack simply because they have to fight the knight. And while increasing his magic. And, of course, increasing his healing. Similar to how the Justice Axe works with Susie. Decreasing the cost and increasing the effectiveness of the healing. If it doubles the healing, just in Chapter 4, he's able to do 75 at base. Without anything to increase his healing output. He can already do 75 healing. Which is absurd. Chapter 6, they're gonna all having... Chapter 5, I mean, they're all gonna have an increased HP, so he's gonna be doing even more healing. Probably around in the 80s to 90s, maybe even have reached 100. Well, I think 100 may be a little bit too much, honestly. And then doubling it, similar to what, in a similar case to how Susie's healing was somewhat doubled. I kind of got sidetracked from the actual theory. But I guess all the secret bosses, they'd also have done their pacified forms. So instead of the Devil's Knife, it's the Devil's Tail. I think that's what it's called. Instead of the Puppet Scarf, it's the Deal Maker. There's no way to spare the knight. So again, Dark Shard. There's only one way to complete Gerson, and attacking only progresses the fight faster. So obviously the Justice Axe, and then probably something related to Ralsei in Chapter 5. No clue what's going to be happening in Chapter 6. And then Chapter 7 will have an all-group thing, where they all probably get upgrades, but it wouldn't be a new item. It would probably be an upgrade to their item. Like halfway through Chapter 7 or something, that's when we fight the knight for the second time. Like, properly fight them, similar to how we do in Chapter 3. They don't get too much more powerful other than for game balance reasons, because obviously being 4 chapters later, they'll all have much more HP and damage, so obviously damage will be increased. But overall, the difficulty would stay around the same as he was in Chapter 3. He, she, they, whatever the fuck. I just say he because it slips out. I don't know. And that would let Susie get her upgrade to her Justice Axe to make it the best weapon in the game, by far. And that's all I have for this one. Tell me if you liked this kind of content. Even if you did, I may or may not make more, and even if you didn't, I, again, may or may not make more. But that's all I have. Goodbye.